Zlurpcast!
What happens when you want to play Warhammer 40,000, but don't want to spend all the time and effort and money? Just play Kill Team. Kill Team is its own game. That's what this episode's about. We've got Valdric. We've got Xtreme. We've got Biran. Valdric wave first, then Xtreme, then Biran. That is the order of the waves. That's how you know who they are. I think their name is there. Biran?
Mm-hmm.
Technical check? Okay. Just want to double check on that. So Kill Team has come a long way since its roots. I remember probably back in 4th edition Warhammer 40K talking about other ways to play. Kill Team and Combat Patrol were two that were brought up. And it was essentially just, use less models. Here you go, gang. Have at it. And Combat Patrol kind of remained that for a long time. But Kill Team, they kind of have revitalized it in 7th edition and said, well, it's just 40K, but kind of just one model time, but no real extra rules. 8th edition 40K comes out, kind of changes a lot of things in the game. And they said, why don't we make an actual Kill Team rule book? This is a real game. I'm a real boy. This is, I was shocked, honestly, when this came out, I think 2018, that they made a real game out of it. Had a box set. You got, inside was Genestealer Cults and Adeptus Mechanicus, I believe, and the base rule book and some terrain. They have revamped that set and give Marines, Space Wolves technically, but I think they're just whatever. You can paint them up. Then Tau and some other terrain in there. Essentially the same kind of thing. You get the Kill Team rulebook. That's essential. You need this to play Kill Team. Do you need the Elites rulebook? You don't need it, but there's a lot of extra units in there. Do you need the Kill Team Annual? Probably not. There is Sisters of Battle rules in there that weren't in any other release except for White Dwarf maybe, and then a few other new units. I don't have the Commander's book. Do you guys have that one?
I do, but I think most people will use Elites before they'll use Commanders.
I've never played with Commanders. I mean, I don't have the book, but if I did, if someone said, hey, we're going to play, never played with it. Didn't really see the need for it. Elites, though, you kind of need that because there's a lot of stuff in there.
Because, a lot of the armies are not super fleshed out, so that helps a lot.
Yeah. The base game of Kill Team, you're essentially picking and choosing models belonging to a unit in 40K. And you have mission against somebody. Kill Team's smaller board. Obviously, less models, probably usually 10 or less models out there, trying to achieve missions. You designate some as specialists. You can give them a heavy specialist where they don't have to take a -1 to shoot, or a comm specialist. They can help somebody nearby. The leader gives you an extra command point every turn. There's a bunch of other specialist classes to give them as well in there. But the cool thing about Kill Team, there's a lot of cool things about it. We're going to talk about that, and there are pros and cons. But if you wanted to try out new stuff in 40K, great place to do it. You can get a feel for something without having to get a full-blown army. You could play a game in an hour or less. You could try out all kinds of different. There isn't like a, give me your net list, bro. No, I'm just going to pick, I want one sniper guy, one this guy, one heavy weapon, one guy. You can pick whatever you want, merge them all together, and see how they fare on the battlefield. And then the rules of the game, it borrows a lot from 40K, but there's enough differences to keep it different. And there's also enough differences to get confused if you go back from Kill Team to 40K like I did. I was alternating here week after week, and it was weird sometimes. So I'm like, wait, when do charges happen again? Because it was like, there's a few differences between 40K and Kill Team that will make you do that. But then they also have rules to have the guys last a whole lot longer. You're not going to die from one hit. You might, but you got negative modifiers for terrain, whereas 40K, now they added it in 9th edition, but they didn't have that in 8th edition. It was really about helping your saves. Flesh wounds, you have injuries, you have things that you can do in the game to keep you surviving a bit longer. So it's not a one turn, an alpha strike thing like in 40K. It doesn't really happen. Most people are kind of hidden anyway in Kill Team. Let's go around the table and before we get to pros and cons, what we generally do is talk about our own experience with the game. So Biran, why don't you kick things off? We'll do a little little dipsy doodle. We'll talk about how we've played Kill Team, what setting we've played it, one-offs, campaigns, tournaments, all that, and kind of go through our history with it.
Well, I don't think with 7th edition we tried some one-offs, and we did a tournament, did we not?
That was still in 8th, wasn't it?
Was that 8th or was that 7th? Adeptus Grognardicus or whatever?
Yeah.
That was Armageddon.
Oh, thank you, Mike. You're right. So between the 7th edition Kill Team rulebook was like,
it was a pamphlet. Yeah.
It was a
in
pamphlet.
a box with some towel and space in a tax squad space. It was pamphlet. Just
I think it was Tau. It was Tau and was it Scouts? Those awful Scouts.
No, it was normal, but it was.
Okay.
They weren't great models. They were like the first.
Yeah.
Version of,
They were these Marines.
Yeah, they were one step after that, but well before any kind of customization. And Shadow War Armageddon comes out. This is before Necromunda was relaunched too.
Mm-hmm.
Games Workshop wanted to see if there was a viable market from their fans of a skirmish sci-fi war game. So Shadow War Armageddon comes out. Very much a carbon copy of the old Necromunda rules, almost like identical.
Is it more like 5th edition?
Second.
Second. Oh, second. Yeah.
Of what, Necromunda?
Of 40K rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. Necromunda Old School was based off of 40K second edition, and that's what Shadow War Armageddon. My first thought was like, how do you not improve on that? But some people wanted that. They still played it, whatever. So it was really, in my opinion, a test just to see if people wanted it. They gobbled them up. The Shadow War Armageddon box sets went, off the shelves. Terrain and all these things you got to try out. And essentially we were using 40K models to play skirmish 40K with Necromunda rules. That's what it was. That kind of phased out, and then they realized, okay, we have a thing. Let's milk this thing. And so just as you have 40K and then we have Armageddon, you have 40K and we go to Kill Team. You've got a version to play in the same universe, same models, some similarities, but enough to make it a real game, not just a bullshit, whatever. Not like, like the Age of Sigmar skirmish game wasn't really a thing.
Yeah, that was
how
trash, yeah.
40K. So
yeah, so when it came out proper with 8th edition, that's when we jumped in, with both feet and ran actual campaigns. We didn't do a lot of one-off games. We kind of jumped right into a campaign type deal with that.
you had history before that, so you figured we already have a handful of people, probably 8 or so dudes that want to play. That we played Shadow War Armageddon. We already did our own Kill Team. We already did that.
Mm-hmm.
You just jumped right into a campaign.
And
right?
it was a narrative campaign we did that I ran, and I basically did not even look at their campaign rules. I kind of made it up as I went along anyway. But what I really liked is it gave me a chance to try an army. I would never play a full army of, for instance, I played Deathwatch. I would never play a full army of Deathwatch, but one kill team, their force is literally called a kill team. It was meant to be. That's
kind of where it all came from. And that's a great, I'm glad you brought that one up. That's kind of, at its core, that's kind of what the game's about. As we know in the 40K fluff, it's the Deathwatch are pulling Marines from different chapters to seek out and hunt aliens. What a perfect scenario for a kill team to have that. I wouldn't want a full army either, but 7 dudes kicking ass would be pretty cool.
One box, literally one box, and that's all you need.
Did you do one from each chapter?
Yes, I followed because it had the shoulder pads. Like, how could I not?
Oh, I forgot. It actually came with. I thought that was just. You're right. They came with heads and shoulder pads to do it yourself.
Yeah, they had like salamanders and minotaurs and like stuff that stuff you don't even see that often on the tabletop of chapters. One thing, I'll go kind of on a little bit of a tangent. Am I the only one that thinks that perhaps some chapters do not send their best? They send maybe their lower performers to get rid of them? Yeah. That'd be my theory.
Well, I mean, have you ever, whether you guys here or somebody watching, think about a job you've worked where there's somebody just totally shitty there. You're like, how do they still work here? And then they get promoted one day?
Right. They get promoted where they could do less damage.
Right. That's just easier than firing somebody.
Yeah. So that's I want to craft a fluff where that's like where the Deathwatch are just the worst Marines.
Yeah.
They're the shittiest Marines.
Yeah, you almost could have a, like this is the Deathwatch you don't know about.
Right.
Like the ones you read about and see, the heroic ones. But then there's like the real cast-offs, the trash.
Or I think like the Dirty Dozen or the Expendables. That's kind of how I went into it, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, we did that. Everyone played a different faction, and I felt like the balance was actually pretty good, at least to start. But I haven't tried any sort of significant play with elites or HQ guys yet.
You didn't use elites in there, because to me the elite
that didn't come out till later.
Yeah, that wasn't out then.
The thing you got to remember, if we're looking at the elites book here, without the elites book, you don't have Primaris, right? Or you don't have Phobos.
No, you could have Primaris.
You don't have Phobos armor guys,
right?
Infiltrators, which are great. Which their infiltrators are kind of made for Kill Team. It's kind of their thing. But other races, there's things you just don't get. Chaos, whether it's Dark Apostle, Sorcerer, Berserkers, Possessed.
Well, and the Harlequins literally just had the regular troop was all you could take.
Yeah, but you don't. So you played because you didn't have the book out at the time. But
right,
I think if you're watching,
I would have. Yeah, yes.
You have to get the core rule book, and I think you have to get the elite book, because you're gonna just think, well, if the whole idea is a buffet of an army, pick and choose. Well, the elite has double the choices.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of need that. So when you played Biran, did you use any kind of build-up thing where you had your specialist went to the different levels, like that? See that tree that's in there?
Yes. Yeah. We followed that, but also I created my own little sort of advancement where, as Mike advanced and desecrated more things with his jism, he eventually got things that weren't actually in the book. I had the plague models from the what's the board game?
Homicide?
No, from the 40K.
What was that called?
The Gellerpox Infected, yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So like I had Mike, he started getting Gellerpox Infected on his team. And Jameson was playing Grey Knights, and the more psychic powers he used, his guys started transforming into Rubric Marines because they were corrupted by chaos.
Okay.
So, and I started I kind of added elite units before elites came out as kind of the way they progressed through the game.
Yeah, I mean, stat lines are the same as 40K. Right. I mean, there's probably some tweaks here and there, but stat lines are pretty much the same. Points would be the biggest thing, but it's all for funsies anyway, like all these games technically are, right? These games are allegedly, I've heard, nowhere on the box, any of these games to say having fun is a requirement, but we like to think that fun.
Oh yeah, and it was all members of the core group. So if I did something that was OP, people tamped it down and didn't overly abuse it.
When you say your core group, it's almost like you're like the core set of a game. Who would be the elites? Like, did you add on some elites?
Tony would be an elite.
Okay.
And probably Jameson.
I heard
those are probably the elites.
Was Doug an elite? Or he joined.
No, he was a neophyte.
Oh, he's not gonna like that.
He was a scout.
Because I think because you had a pretty good. I remember following along. You had a pretty good amount of people playing Kill Team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Ryan played Adeptus Mechanicus, of course. Tony played G Stealer Cult. Mike played Plague Marines. I played Death Watch. Todd played Orcs.
Yeah.
Jameson
played Grey Knights.
Yeah. Okay. And overall, you had some good success. Was that when you championed the game of sorts, was there a natural stopping point there?
Yeah, because I got sick of, because every day I had to write a new reason why Army X was facing Army Y, and came up with specific goals for each army. I actually put work into it, which is rare for me.
Yeah.
But then you get tired of it after a while.
Yeah, and then like, all right, we're gonna have the final battle, and we did the big board. Everyone had a corner, and those never work out as well as you think. But you got to do something.
Those are always great to talk about, but they're always the worst game of all of them.
Yeah. Because you end up having people either gang up or just fight in their corner.
Yeah, right.
Which is fine. It's just an excuse to get together and have French toast across the street.
Okay. I like that. Was that a scenario, the French toast?
Yeah.
Roll on it? Roll on the table? What type
and my team was fully painted.
Oh. Did everybody have fully painted? Was that a requirement?
Mike was... Tony was not, of course.
Tony was not.
But everyone else, yes, I think.
I think, with
Ryan was close. Yeah, I don't know if his was full or not.
Yeah, his was close because he used the same army we used in 40K.
Yeah.
With Kill Team and a group of 40K players, you could easily say painting required.
Yeah.
You would never say that in 40K games because there's no...
It's too big an ask.
There's no stopping point in 40K. There's never a, I'm done. It's, well, I got my ass kicked, so I need to buy one of these. That doesn't happen in skirmish games. So you could say, Kill Team campaign starts next Thursday, fully painted armies only. Fully painted Kill Teams only.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. You can knock out 8 models in a week and make that happen.
Yeah, or if with the advent of the Elites book, you could do 2 as custodes.
That's all it would be, probably, right?
Yes. And I hear it actually worked, but unless it's a scenario where you have to secure objectives, it's pretty effective.
Well, we're going to talk about kind of the balance and power creep and whatnot too. That's going to come out. Got a story with that. Valdric, so you played in that campaign. That was your experience with Kill Team as well?
Yes, that was it. So I've never played with Elites, but I had a good time playing with the Death Guard. So
okay.
Yeah, they have that plague launcher, which is just brutal.
Yeah,
their indirect fire weapon or whatever.
Yeah.
Xtreme, Kill Team. What did you play?
I did not. I read a lot. I watched some videos, but I have never played.
Never?
Never.
But
I own his Kill Team army.
Yeah, I was hoping to buy that as well.
That was actually a Shadow War army.
Oh.
Because I did attempt Shadow War and then realized it was the same bullshit all over again.
It is better than Shadow War. Kill Team is better than Shadow War.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Xtreme, though, I want to ask you because you don't like 40K at all. We know that if you want to watch that episode.
Pachow.
There. I was looking for it. I thought it was there. I didn't see it. We know you don't like 40K at all. You have, for years, flirted with the idea of Kill Team, and I'm going to throw Shadow War into it because that was a pre-Kill Team to these rules. I'm going to throw that in with it. It's not, because it's skirmish 40K. You flirted with the idea over and over again, and to this day, you still think about it because I know you do. Why do you keep feeling attracted to the game when you know you don't like the style of roll the hit, roll the wound, so to say, nothing happened? And by the way, the nothing happened is way worse in Kill Team. Because it's a flesh wound or whatever. That 40K has more kills than Kill Team. So why do you keep going back to it? I just want to know.
The low model count and the universe. I like the universe. I like the models. I want to have a game to use I want to be involved in a game, but every time I try it, I'm just miserable. So I want to play orcs. I want to play sisters, but I just don't like the game.
It's essentially the same game. It's 80% 40K. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah.
It's got a lot of its own thing, but I mean the core mechanics of the game. You're moving the category of inches. You're shooting. Yes, you can ready your models to shoot, so you get to shoot further. There's things in there that are very skirmish-esque, but it's like a skirmish concept on top of a 40K set of rules. It's got skirmishy things, but at its core, it's still 40K, and that's probably why you've never really given it a go. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say, but I did look into it and I did read about it to see just in case it was a little more tolerable for me, but it turned out to not be the case. So.
Okay.
No, I think this one would drive you insane.
Every time they release a skirmish rule set, I'll probably look at it and hope. But
do you have any future plans for Kill Team, or have you closed the book on it, Xtreme?
For now, I've closed the book on a lot of things, and any kind of Games Workshop skirmish game would be on that list.
Okay.
What if it was Rivet Wars Kill Team?
It would be like polar opposite rule sets. One, everything dies, and one, nothing dies.
And Blood Bowl is your favorite skirmish game, and it's a GW game. So you're covered.
Slash party game.
And party game.
Yeah.
Blood Bowl is really your number one skirmish game. So. All right. Okay, fair enough. I played Kill Team with those guys before the official rules came out, and then here in Colorado played a good amount of games. I was alternating for a while Kill Team every week, and then alternating 40K Kill Team, which, like I said earlier, was a little confusing because there's enough differences. You know, in Kill Team, you move all your models as like 40K, but then the rest of the turns are all back and forth. So then there's just some things that happen, you know, and you go to charge, like, oh wait, I don't do that now. I do that then. There's a little playing 40K and Kill Team. I don't like alternate. I'd love to stick with one for a while, then go to the other one. And that'll come up in our pros and cons a little more. I played Orcs, Eldar, Space Marines, and Chaos. Tried them all in Kill Team, and just because you can make a brand new list every time. You know, I got those. A lot of people thought it was a waste of money, but I got those cards. It was like a card pack. They actually came in the box set, but I didn't buy the box set. So some guy had them on eBay. It was $15, and it was like 50 cards. That's awesome. So I just basically wrote up, you know, thought of some names. I did not roll on the name generating table.
The only reason there's D10s in the box.
Yeah.
For the name generating table. Sometimes I'll start with it. I'm like, all right, that's a good start, but I can't end like that because that sounds too much like a word I don't want. But you go through there, fill them all out, and we had it. So I would say that the Orc Kill Teams are pretty fun. You get a lot of models in there. Marines, you can just take whatever you want. So
I like that you could have your leader be a Gretchen.
You could, yeah.
And just hide.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it because that's not very orky, but you could.
Right. Well, a Gretchen would do that.
He would. He'd have to have some kind of like, I have the keys to the DACA shed.
Yeah.
To listen to me. And they got to listen. Or they kill him and take the keys.
Mm-hmm.
And then you eat the keys. They never get them. Marines are Marines and Kill Team are interesting because there's so many choices. You can tweak it forever and ever if you want to. I don't like mixing matching old Marines and Primaris. A lot of people do.
I hate it. I hate it.
A couple scouts there because they're cheap. I'm like, we'll take it a little later because they're
I'll go points down before I'll put a scout on my team.
Same here. My last Marine list, I think, had one Eliminator, 2 Infiltrators, 1 Intercessor, or 2 Gunner, and something else. It was like 5 models, I think. And I like having 5. I don't like going lower than 5. I did play a Kill Team with 4 Blood Angel Terminators from the Space Hulk box set. Mm-hmm. And I got killed every game. I thought Terminators, like, unkillable. Yeah, only 4 models, can't do shit, though.
Yeah.
So you kind of want 5 or more. I will tell you, when I played my Eldar Kill Team, this is a fun, quick story. So I'm playing in the game store, and I have my Eldar army is almost all Wraithguard and Wraithlords. And those were all plastic, you know, several years ago. So, and a lot of people didn't like it because it was like, well, I don't want to do that. And when 8th edition came out and now 9th edition, they're not a very points efficient army in 40K. It's a lot of points for not a lot of models and easy to get killed. So you bring I forget what they call them, a Ghost Warrior army, a Yanan army in 40K. You're like, you must be playing for fun. You're not gonna. But in Kill Team, I had a Kill Team with 2 Wraith Guard, and people were like, oh, come on, don't do that to the guy. You're being, don't be like that. I'm like what? And they're like, you can't bring that in Kill Team. That's bullshit. I'm like, why? I'm like, in 40K, you tell me I was an idiot for bringing an all Wraith Guard army. But in Kill Team, I bring 2 of them, and I'm called cheesy because they have toughness 6. And they were hard to kill. But they were 42 points each, I think.
But guess what? I'm not very good at the game, so I'm still going to lose.
Right, there's that too. But I mean, most Kill Team games, we always play 125. A lot of people play 100, but 125 kind of became the new point. If I have 2 Wraithguard and they're 40, I think they're 41 each. That's 82 points. Then I got a couple Guardians, and I had a Ranger as my leader. That was it. I didn't do that great. Were those guys hard to kill? Hell yeah. And their gun auto hits, and it's like 2+ to wound everything. But it was like, man, you can't win with some people. And why is Kill Team still the same? You can't take that. That's BS. Like, why do Games Workshop games always have that stigma attached to it when other games don't always have that? Like 40K, people always do the, that's not fair. You can't bring that. We know, because we've talked about in our 40K episode, what's a normal army and what's a bullshit army. But in Kill Team, the comments still happen. Wouldn't you think that a skirmish game should be, aren't we above that? Aren't we above the criticizing a Kill Team for what you're bringing?
No, well, anything that's used against me is bullshit. That's
And that's how it should be in every game. It should be the
Yeah.
well.
I lost, so therefore it's cheesy.
Yeah, you're one. I didn't have those. You did, so it's cheesy. Obviously, your dice are bullshit. Whatever. The normal, tried and true, sore lose. Not
Was this a side talker? Was this a guy not involved in your game interjecting himself saying that?
It was.
Oh,
it was because the guy played.
Ka-chow, gaming etiquette. Ka-chow.
Yeah. The guy I was playing against had no problem with it. We probably split our battles. I mean, we was like, we each won. It was kind of alternating weeks. And so he didn't have a problem with it. But it was like, oh, you're going to do that to him. Like, do what? This guy's 41 points. That's 4 normal guys. Like, so that still happened in Kill Team. I didn't like that. And it's going to come up in our pros and cons about some things I don't like about Kill Team. A little too close to the 40K group. Let's do pros around the horn again. Biran, kick it off.
Pros. I love the scenery that they came out with for this game. It also works well with the stuff that came out with Shadow War Armageddon, I thought. Yeah. I really enjoyed the boards that came out with the scenery packs. We can't be a 3x3. We have to be different, but
those boards, correct me if I'm wrong, but now they're using those boards in 40K.
Yes, they are. Yeah, 4 of them make a full size. Yep.
They're great boards. And I use the Warcry one too, because that's the same one.
Yes.
And,
Chaos. It fits in just fine. It's a Death World, so what?
Yeah. They're nice boards.
I also ended up at the last Adepticon, I got fat bats that are the exact same size.
Yeah.
That I want to try out. I just like that size. It fits on a good table and has room for your shit.
Well, I never thought I would like a fold-up cardboard board. I thought, I'm better than this.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not. It's awesome.
Because it looks great.
It looks great. Folds up into a game bag or something.
Yep.
I mean, that was always a thing back in the old Blood Bowl days.
Yeah,
and I would talk about, and Mike too, the C4 bag, how we like that you could break down a board and put it in there.
Yep.
Those Kill Team boards are pretty nice. They're a little bigger than what you'd think to store in a bag, but they could fit in like a pocket of something just fine. I think they're great. I
think they look great. The print on them looks great.
I scoffed at first. I scoffed.
Yeah. But then I ended up buying everything.
They were great.
I like the opportunity to try armies we talked about this before, that I would never try before. I was kind of playing around with a Necron army, but I didn't ever actually finished it. But now with the new Necrons, I'm kind of chomping at the bit to use that because I have Necrons with the Star.
Or Champion.
Yeah.
Possibly Champion. So that's a great point. You didn't think Necrons were cool enough to do a 40K army.
Right.
Kill Team got your beak wet a little bit.
Yep.
And then you said, oh, I like that they're pretty fucking hard to kill. I like that everybody hates
easy to paint.
Easy to paint. People don't like playing against them. They got a lot of, what do you call it? Like room for error. You know what I mean? Like you can be a little crazy with them in a game. So 40K, you use this in a way what Games Workshop wants you to do. They wanted you to try them out and Kill Team and then move on from there.
Well, and also like the new Necrons, like the one thing that always stopped me from ever wanting to do a real Necron army is their base troop. I thought it was a pain in the ass to put together and looked kind of stupid. And they fixed that. So, and their obelisks don't look stupid anymore.
Yeah, they changed those. Yep. Do Necrons still still shit them out though, right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, that's good.
But they don't have that stupid green plastic door on it anymore.
Yeah, those plastic rods. I wonder how many rods went up a pee hole. You know what I mean? I wonder how many. Like,
I wonder how many people didn't glue the rods on because they're going, I'm going to do that after I paint them, and then they get lost.
Yeah. Because they go, well, I don't want to get the clouding on there from glue. You're never going to put it
on. It's like the canopy on flyers.
Yeah,
you just paint over it.
It's probably better to just glue them on and then put masking tape on it and spray it when you're ready to get to that point.
Or just paint it over, like blue and with the fake shininess on it.
Yeah, right.
Pro tip. No flyers in Kill Team. Now Kill Team, I assume they're releasing a new one with 9th, or have they announced it yet?
I have not heard anything about it. Have you heard anything?
No, I just saw a rumor like, didn't you see the announcement? I'm like, no, what is it? Because like all the units have changed. Every Marine's got 2 wounds now, basically.
What I think will be released is just a Kill Team Annual 2020.
Just with the new units.
Just gonna have whatever stats changed. Probably some new, not stratagems. What do they call them in this game? I forgot. Tactics, and then new points. That's all I think you're going to see as a 2020.
Would they give up an opportunity to release another $150 box though that would sell out quickly?
Good point. The current one, I mean, it does have Reavers in it, so I could see them doing a Phobos one, or like an infiltrator or sprue in there or something, and then another bad guy thing.
Or what about the new Melta guys?
Oh yeah, that's true. You're right. They might probably do that, but it's a lot of it's a good value, a lot of good stuff in the box, especially if you're going to use one of the two forces in the box.
Right, and I like how dense you're supposed to set up the scenery.
Yeah.
So it's not that wide open parallel park bullshit.
Yeah.
You see in 40K.
You want buildings, you want ruins.
Yep.
And 40K.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
And
okay, it's not your time yet.
It's scenery. The rule set. Well, we'll get to that in cons, but the rule set overall I like. And at least to my mind, nothing seems too out of whack balance wise. I always felt like I had a chance no matter who I was playing.
Yeah.
Especially if you have, there are those games you have a really small force and you lose a couple. It's really
hard. But then it's going to end quickly too. So.
Then quick, right? Whereas like when I was playing with a Chaos Marine one, it was usually like 4 Marines and then like 5 or 6 cultists, and they were my meat shields in order to actually be able to grab objectives and do stuff. And I never had that with Marines because I was using Primaris only, and they're all pretty expensive. But that's why some people mix and match and take scouts or something. I
also like the sort of ancillary armies they release for kill team use, like that were in the Gellerpox Infected and those guys, Blackstone Fortress stuff that they made kill team rules for. That I thought was always neat. Yeah,
so you could get the Blackstone Fortress rules, Rogue Trader box set.
Mm-hmm.
You could get and play with those guys. Those.
There was a cool there's like the Chaos Marine faction from that box that's a separate kill team that's really cool.
Yeah, they're separate, and then they have the really cool Rebel Imperial Guard guys.
Mm-hmm.
So those are like new cultists that are a little sized higher than the old ones, and kind of fitting more with what's out now. So okay, any other pros? We covered a lot. So
and it's again, since it's 40K, it's easy to find people to play. You could get a game done in about an hour and a half to an hour.
To this day, 2 years or so after the release of it, probably a little more than 2 years, you can still go to any game store, and there's probably there may not be a kill team night at every game store, but there is a group of 40K players that would love to play kill team every week.
Yep.
You just have to be the person to say, guys, come over here, we're doing this. Because that's the only the only downside to the player base is when they stray back to 40K, somebody needs to pull them back. But they're there. They exist. They're not. You don't have to make them up.
Yeah, I can't see a 40K player ever saying, I hate kill team. I only play 40K.
It's not like when we talked about like the Mantic games, you have to convince somebody to play those games with you. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do that in 40K. You just need to remind them that it's still fun. Mm-hmm. That's all. Valdric, your pros for kill team?
Oh, you guys covered most of them. I did like one of the things I disliked about 40K, especially when I started playing Death Guard, was there are so many different weapons rules. And because I had smaller factions in Kill Team, I felt like I only really needed to know the 4 rules the 4 weapons I had. So, because I actually stopped when we had the 40K campaign, I actually kind of switched over to demons just because they're easier.
Yeah, 40K, well, the core rules aren't super complex. You look at any data sheet of any units and then the amount of choices. Now, granted, I do like the choices, but if you decide to I want one of these and one of these and one of these, and then you got to remember all that. And I don't know if I told you guys, but I found a data sheet blank template for Photoshop, and I now make, for whatever I play 40K, instead of using that Army Builder, to me after a while it gets a little confusing, flipping pages and all that, I now made data sheets with only what I have. And I found that it's like what's in the codex, except only what you took, and the weapon rules and all. So I could see your point on that, where it's you want to trim down the things you have to remember because nobody wants to keep looking up shit the whole time while you're playing.
Yeah, and I constantly had to do that in 40K. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and everything else. I do like the skirmish game. I like it's how it's fast. I was toying with other factions and things like that that you're not going to want to get into the 40K. But
what were you trying out in Kill Team?
Oh, what are those guys called? The guys with the berets.
The Stormtroopers?
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Now they're Militarum Tempestus.
Yeah,
Tempestus,
Scions, Tempestus Scions, yeah.
Yeah, the Scions, that was it, yeah, because I like
Stormtroopers before GW wanted to buy the word, to own more words.
Right.
They were formerly called Imperial Guard Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
But at least the new models are great.
Yeah, those are good models.
Yeah.
They got the leader has a coat, I believe, right? One of the few 40K models who dresses for winter. I like that.
Him and the commissars.
If he was playing on a smat, you're gonna want to
appropriately. Nothing worse than Catachin jungle fighters on a smat.
Yeah. Well, or nothing worse than the Catachin jungle fighter models,
yeah.
which have biceps bigger than their fucking head.
They set unrealistic body images for boys.
I'm actually shocked GW has not made picked one of the old school Valhallans or some other faction that done new plastics. I'm shocked that the Cadians are still the last ones they've done.
And their planet's gone.
And they're actually still good models. But how do you not have the Valhallans or the Mordians? How do you over all these years not made a new plastic kit?
Let's make more Rambos.
Yeah, right. More fine cast Rambos too.
Yes.
If it was plastic, I would have bought it.
No, they'll release them, but it'll be fine cast torsos and metal arm in the head.
A little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Xtreme, not playing the game, but your videos and your reading and all of your research, and also all of your Kill Team pipe dreams over the years. What are your pros as an outsider looking in?
The model count for the game. And as mentioned, finding people to play against is easy. And when you walk by a table and they're playing Kill Team, it looks cool. So it draws you in and makes you want to find out more.
Does Kill Team walking by Kill Team, does that look cooler than walking by Dead Zone? Because I don't know if it does.
It's different.
It depends on because I would say Dead Zone looks cool because the scenery is consistent and it always looks sort of the same.
So I don't think, and I'm not trying to give Mantic any kind of boost here, but when you do the walk by is terrain first, model second. Mm-hmm. That's just what you see when you walk by. When you see a decked out Dead Zone table, it looks badass. Maybe when you delve a little bit, you might not like, good from far, far from good, whatever you want to call it.
Like when you start looking closely at the models, you go, ooh.
Dead Zone suffers from butterface a little bit. You know what I mean?
I think that's the thing. Like you're walking by, Dead Zone makes you stop and look a little closer, and then you keep walking. And Kill Team, you might walk by it, but when you take a closer look, you're like, oh, wow, this is really cool.
Dead Zone is a sweet ass that you turn your head and you see it's a dude.
And you go, and you still finish.
Right, you say it's still a nice ass. Hey, it's 2020, still a nice ass, but I'm just...
The difference would be there's this one guy at Grognard Games, Rose, Illinois.
Yeah.
He has the fully painted scenery on a Lazy Susan. So when it's the other guy's turn, they can spin it around and move it around to get, the line of sight stuff.
For what game?
For Kill Team.
Wow.
He has and it's like super high level painted scenery. Like time was spent on this setup. I think it's all glued though, so it's kind of a one scenery thing he did.
Just like you guys ever play Scrabble on the spinning board?
Yeah.
It's like,
I do that, and then when I'm losing, I just spin it way too fast.
Right. I wonder, is that like this guy's life work?
I don't know, but it's the most because he was playing when we were playing, and I'm like, stop making us look bad. Because I just base coated my scenery, and that was it. And his was like all.
To me, that's a little over the top. But do what you like. But I think that to your point, Xtreme, because we're still on your pros, and I want to take away from that. But you walk by a Kill Team table, it still does look cool. Now, what terrain you're using, obviously that makes a difference. If you're using, maybe old beat up styrofoam buildings, won't look as cool as the new Sector Mechanicus. Is that right? Or Imperialis, whatever it is. Mechanicus, Zone Mortalis. At a certain point, all the fake Latin, I can't remember all the. I know more fake Latin than real Latin, obviously. It does look cool because usually, not always, usually people who play Kill Team care about playing on a cool Kill Team-esque board. Some of them don't. Some just say, well, let's do some hills. But usually there's buildings, there's ruins, there's a fucking generator you got to do to achieve the mission, or that kind of stuff in there. So you're right. When you walk by, it does have that extreme. You want to continue your pros?
That's all I had.
Oh, well done. We'll segue to me. My pros are, I'm not going to take Biran's pro of a sampling armies. It's not a pro. It's going to come up in the cons, so we'll get to that. So to me, that's actually not a pro. We'll talk about why. The actual pros, though, are if you know 40K, you know another game, essentially. So you have if you're looking at amass game knowledge in your brain, you've got another game under your belt. And you might find you like that one more. You also might not. So it's always nice to have some familiarity. Obviously, you're using 40K models, so the models are fantastic. No issue there. I do like that Games Workshop has put some support into it. They could do more, but they could have easily done a whole lot less. I'd love for them to do more, but they could have not had these books. They've done that. These books are not limited edition. They're probably at your game store right now. You can get packs with a Kill Team in the box with some terrain and some cards and some dice and ready to go. Like they've done these cool little starter kits because they know it's a starter kit for Kill Team and maybe a starter kit for 40K eventually. And they can spin those same kits and turn them into easy to build kits for 40K. So there's a lot of repurposing for everything. So it's a pro to an extent there. I like that it's a relatively quick game to play. I still think if you come across somebody, there's no model count limit, right?
I thought there was a top limit.
20?
I honestly don't know for sure, but I thought there was. So you couldn't just do,
you
I got 80 Gretchen.
Who does 20 like Dark Eldar Warriors or something, and it's going to be annoying to play against them. Mm-hmm. It still happens, but as a pro, because we're in that segment, I like that there is a freedom to the size of it. I don't want to, it's not a total con, it's more of a pro than a con, that there is freedom to have a 4-man kill team if you so desire, and you still might win some missions. So I like that. It's not a straight numbers game all the time. Outside of that, I think the specialists are cool. There's not a lot of, they're pretty easy. There's my heavy, there's my leader, there's my comms, there's my fighter. Like it's kind of by the book. So I kind of like that. We could all play, if you were doing like Necromunda, there's a little too much like, well, what's that guy? What's that guy? We all have the specialists. We all have the same ones. So all you have to know is the normal stats plus these +1 attack. The normal stats plus these whatever, +1 weapon skill, whatever. So the specialist game mechanic is a pro for me. Outside of that, similar to what Biran covered. Let's go around the table for our cons. Biran, kick it off.
The biggest con is sometimes it takes too long for guys to die. Too many opportunities to not die, so that kind of can bog it down a little bit.
I think you've got it's a 4+, right? To go either out of action.
5. I think Mike and I were talking about this earlier. It's been so long.
It's a 4+, but there's a lot of modifiers too.
Yeah. There's other things that go on if other people have died, I think, and other things. People are shaken.
And terrain, if you're obscured or you got a flush moon.
You get some hot rolling, or I should say not, the other end. This is an instance where Xtreme, would you bring out your special dice? I've got to make an injury roll. Wait, because injury roll is done by the guy who killed them or the person? I forgot.
I think it's by the person who killed them.
Oh, okay. Then no, you want that, because then 4+ you're out of action, I think. Yeah.
But you can do it however you want, because this is America.
Yeah, there was some Necron shenanigan too with that.
Oh yeah.
I forgot. I just remember that.
I never
of course
played
there is. It's the classic Necron move.
So
one of my cons, it's more of a wish than a con. It's not really their fault. with all the super sexy Necromunda gang models they released, I wish they would do the Necromunda gang's version where everyone agrees to play just as the Necromunda gangs and play Kill Team instead of having to play that goddamn Necromunda game.
I think that's not the game Games Workshop wants.
I know, but it's the game I want.
No, well, then play Necromunda with other rules.
But, I mean, how hard would it be to just release, like, a little web only? Like, hey, here's the stats for the Goliath gang. Here's the stats for these guys. Go have fun.
I mean, if you think about it, while their armor isn't on par with 40K, neither are their weapons.
Right.
So, las guns being commonplace as opposed to, melt-a-guns everywhere or something. I think it'd be fine. You'd have to have some heavy restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
Like every Necromunda campaign I've played for the last 25 years has had one guy to take stuff that's way too good. You couldn't allow that in Kill Team. Like, hey, man, there's no plasma cannon. There's no las cannon in this, okay? You can't. Well, I know I went to the trading post. We're not doing that here.
No.
Just grenade launcher with frag and crack is the most we're going to do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to have some heavy restrictions to do that. But yeah, you could. It would be a good White Dwarf article for sure.
Yeah, and I just love the Necromunda model so much,
Me too. There's a lot of character in them.
Mm-hmm. But that's about it.
Valdric, your cons for Kill Team?
I'm going to parallel a lot what I had for Marvel Crisis Protocol. The terrain was beautiful, but it was unnecessarily complex. Yeah. This is a goddamn floor on the second floor of a building. It can be one piece. It does not have 8, 9, 10 pieces.
At first, I thought you meant rules. You mean assembly.
Yeah, assembly. It was ridiculously complex, and I put a bunch of it together for Adepticon. It was hell.
So I put together from Shadow War, but it was that big the thing that came in there.
Shadow War stuff was great. The actual Kill Team terrain, the floors where you'd have like this piece, and then this piece would make a square, and then you'd have a corner. It could have been one piece.
I had no idea. I never actually bought a Kill Team box set. I never put that terrain together. So.
Some of the kits were better than others when it came to that, but I agree.
And that was a huge, and actually when Warcry came out, I did not, pre-order anything until I saw the box set, and I looked at the terrain, and I saw, the Warcry terrain's much easier to put together. So I was like, okay. Yeah. The Kill
of course, people put it together wrong because of the instructions, but.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's that, but yeah.
As far as the game itself, any cons?
Like Biran said, it's the shaken, the morale, your break, and then you got to do the shaken test. I don't know. This could just be me. This could be me being dense. I never grasped that. Mm-hmm. And it just seemed like we were constantly asking Ryan or Tony, what the hell do we do? And I watched a video to kind of refresh my memory, and they're like, well, if you got a flesh wound, you got to make a shaken test. And I was like, I don't think it's that simple, but I could be wrong.
It was been a while since I played, but I'm pretty sure it was flesh wound guys count against your team.
That's for the morale test. That's for the break test. Yeah. But then all the ones that there's certain ones that also have to make shaken tests. Mm-hmm. And the order which make it was, I don't fully remember. And
there was a few instances. I bet you in my main rule book, I bet you I have the morale page like dog-eared or something.
Oh God, yeah, I had that thing marked and I read it.
I kept going back to that page all the time because there was a lot of that was going on with the between flesh wounds and real wounds and who is shaken, who's So it could have been a little better. I don't remember. I do remember when I was playing regularly, it wasn't too bad, but that was something we had to keep going back to early on.
And I remember, and this could just be the player, but our resident orc player was always bitching about it. So
well, who would that be?
I don't know.
Would that be Todd?
Could be, but I don't know.
But orcs are a little tough in Kill Team because of their survivability. But I mean, if you're playing orcs, you should have
you have to have the right attitude.
Yeah, you got to have the right attitude.
You're supposed to.
Right.
That's your army. So, okay. Xtreme, your cons based on all of your research, for all of your years of research.
Mostly the same kind of cons I had with 40K in general. Stuff doesn't die fast enough for me, which I know in skirmish games you don't want it to die too fast, but still not fast enough. And they seem to have slowed it down in this game even to make it worse. But then also the like role-playing game, like equipping your characters type thing. I know it's a big plus for a lot of people, but it's a con for me personally. I don't really want that. I would rather have like generic troops and you switch out the leader and that changes things rather than having everybody equipped differently and all that stuff.
But you'd rather have like a squad be all the same? Like same weapon?
Like you could put different leaders in and that leader would change that squad in some minor way.
That's what a Space Marine, especially if you do Primaris, would be though. Because Primaris, just like in 40K, Primaris guys come with a bolter, plasma.
Yeah, but I could have a Primaris kill team and have all I mean I could have, like I said, Eliminator, I could have the new Meltagun guy, I could have a Reaver that's good at, getting in and got the grab. I mean, you could pick.
What I'm saying, Primaris have it's a different unit. The gun indicates the unit in that. You're not swapping out guns on a guy.
Yeah, the basic.
An Intercessor's got a bolt rifle.
Intercessor, yeah. But other ones have choices. I think Reavers have a choice. I think.
But it's not like a regular Space Marine where you could have like 6 or 7 different weapons just for a tactical.
I agree. But I think what Xtreme's saying is because of the fact that you can pick and choose, it lets somebody do whatever, and you can have all.
It probably does make it hard to balance too. Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Xtreme?
There was something else, but I forgot it. So I don't know.
If it comes up, you just throw it out there. Just throw it. Pick it up, throw it. If I like what you're throwing, I'll catch it. If I don't, I'm gonna let it just zing right past me. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
For my cons of Kill Team, this is going to be a weird con. It's like a weird boner, as the kids say. It's too much like 40K. What? And I like 40K. Isn't that weird? I think it's just different enough where it drives me nuts that there's little differences. I'd rather have a fresh game, like a Warcry, even though I'm not a huge fan of it, a Warcry-esque game. I don't, because you do these little things like, oh, I'm going to charge you. Oh, I get to fall back 3 inches. I'm like, wait, you do? That's a thing? And I forget. I'm like, there's these little nuances that you get used to in 40K, and then you go to Kill Team, and because it's so similar, but when it's different, it's a little tough to get into. So that's a con for me. It's too much like 40K. I'd rather have be how like Apocalypse is different stats and rules. I'd rather have Kill Team do that. I want it to be different than 40K. The other big one for me is actually, like we kind of brought up in Biran's Pro, is the sampling of the armies. Here's why I don't like it. Unless you have unlimited gaming funds, or you already have a bunch of models anyway, if you truly want to make one of those, you can't unless you buy boxes of all of them. If I want to, like, why would you not have, well, I know why, because we want to sell big box sets, but think about it from a gamer's perspective, not from the company's perspective. How cool would it be to have each army have a Kill Team box set that's got a bunch of heads and torsos and guns and bodies, and you build your own Kill Team? You could still bring something in, but if I want to build a guy with a, the sniper rifle, I don't want to buy the 3 Eliminator box. I just want one of those in a box, and go ahead and charge $60 for it. Make 5 guys, but I can make 5 my own Kill Team. This is my Predator Kill Team. This is my, like, you can give it some theme and some look and some style and different heads and all that kind of stuff. Instead, you're going to here's what most people do. You either have an army and you pull from it, easy, or you want to try something new. Most people buy 1 or 2 box sets. Biran, when you try out other armies, not 40K armies, do you buy more than 2 box sets ever?
For instance, for the Necrons, I bought a Start Collecting box,
Okay.
And another box. So I spent more than I even really had to.
Yeah. So you're in for about 130, 140 or so.
Right.
Or maybe,
You know, like the only one where I only had to buy one box was, like I said, the Death Watch.
and that's gonna comes
Because
forth.
Death Watch is designed for kill team.
Like, if you want to do an orc kill team, you better have a fucking orc army. Because if you buy the orc kill team box off the shelf, it's garbage. It's 5 Burna Boys.
Yeah.
What the hell do I want that in a kill team? I might use one because it's got a shooting or a hand-to-hand. I might take one, but I don't want 5. Why the fuck would I buy that? So to have a kill team, to truly make a cool-looking kill team, you got to buy a lot of stuff.
2 boxes minimum, yeah. Except for Death Watch.
At least, yeah. But I mean,
I think some of the start collecting boxes probably have a good kill team in there.
for
Variety.
I got a flash kit. I got a couple knobs. I have like a little bit of everything because they're cool and I want them. You could never say, I want to start building an orc kill team. What do you have? Nothing right now. Like you better want to play orcs in 40K too.
You could. There's ways to hobo hammer it for sure, though. Like
yeah, but you're making concessions to not do what you want to do. There is ways though. Like if you say I want a Tau kill team and you just buy a Tau Fire Warriors, so you can do it. Who the fuck wants 10 Fire Warriors though? Like that's not, to me, that's not a kill team. That's a squad. That's
right. There's certain armies you can get away with it. There's certain like when I say hobo hammer, there's ways of wheeling and dealing and going online and things like that.
Oh, you're right.
Retail, no, you're buying at least 2.
You could buy bits on. You're right. You could buy some bits here and there. You're right. You could probably hobo hammer.
If you're local to Grognar Games, there's almost unlimited kill team potential in the new section.
What game were we talking about where we said kind of, wouldn't it be fun if we all put our sprues in a pile and build stuff? What was that for? Do you remember?
That was for our gay orgy.
Oh, Frostgrave. It was. I think it was.
Yeah.
I think that could be kind of cool. I mean, it's weird because Kill Team has 20 plus factions, but if you think about it, I mean, the way I envision Kill Team is like I mentioned earlier. You're watching like the movie Predator. It is, a handful of guys out there to do a mission. They all look different. They're all armed different, but that gives them character. I don't want 5 tactical Marines. I don't want that.
Well, you don't want any tactical Marines, period.
Well, that's true. I want probably no helmets because I want to give them some character. I want to give them a look. I want them to look like something. I remember I had that. We did one of our tournaments. We had a Space Wolf kill team. They all had heads on. Most of them were Grey Hunters. I had a few others here and there, but for the most part, they were, and maybe one Wolfen, I think. But to me, it should be one from all the categories. Because then
I would do that, but I would do it with all the Forge World heads I bought over the years because I like helmeted heads.
Okay, that's fine. But I mean, one from everything. He's your heavy. How do I know it? Well, he's got a big fucking gun.
And mutton chops.
That guy's my fighter. How do I know it? Well, he's got these fucking knives and he's got, they need to look like the specialists that they are. But I see a lot of people playing Kill Team, both locally, online, back when I lived there, that are just playing a squad in 40K, hobo hammer it. And to me, how is that fun? He's my comm specialist. Really? Where's his fucking phone? I want him to have a phone by his head.
Where's his antenna and his pack with the handset?
Where's his fucking antenna? Where's his UHF antenna out of his head? That's my combat specialist. Really? The guy with the gun with 2 hands?
You want the Al Franken guy with the satellite dish from SNL.
Right. That's what I want. The combat specialist can't hold a bolter like this. That looks retarded to me. I'm sorry. To me, Kill Team offers you all you could want in customizing and looking the part to make a 40K movie. But then you don't always have the tools to do it because you got to buy a bunch of stuff. And I don't like that. So that's a con for me because it's a buffet to those who already have an army of that. It's like backwards. You want Kill Team to be a jumping point to 40K, but it's actually the reverse. It's, well, I already have all these models. Let's make some Kill Team out of it. It happens the other way a lot more, I think, than the other way. So.
But if you like my favorite part of the hobby is buying stuff. So for me, it's good.
A lot of people play 40K are either they've always been hobos or they've reached the hobo. I'm fed up. A lot of people that like GW games have that love-hate thing of I'm fed up with their prices. I only buy secondhand. There's people that do that. So Kill Team's not going to work out for them, in my opinion, to start fresh. Now, they're just going to use what they have, so they'll be fine for that. Let's go on to our. Oh, that was pros and cons. We've already covered how we've experienced it. Anything else out there extreme? Did that idea ever float back? I got my hand up if you want to throw me something.
Yeah, it was more stuff that I don't like about 40K though. It was random charges, random running, random movement. Just tell me how far my guy can go.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. If you don't like 40K, you won't like those aspects that are still in Kill Team. I think Kill Team has move your move and then D6, or was it 2D6?
2D6 for the charge.
Charge. Yeah. So. Well, fair enough, Xtreme. Anything else we need to cover on Kill Team? I think overall it's a game that you're familiar with if you play 40K, if you're around GW games. We're all happy that it's got kind of a life of its own. Where it's better than being a pamphlet, but is it going to be a main game by anybody? For you guys, before we get into ratings, Biran, Valdric, would it be a main game?
It would be for me.
Yeah. Valdric?
Could be if other people were playing it. I don't think I'd be the champion of it, but if they're playing it, I'd be in.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean,
I'm probably in the same boat with you on that one.
The whole 40K thing is.
It's always I like the idea of 40K.
I like
more than
I
actually playing.
I like the idea of it more than actually playing it. So.
With 40K or with Kill Team?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough.
It's I don't know.
Okay.
I'll play that before I'll play 40K. How about that?
Oh, interesting.
So both of you say that, but then both of you gave 40K a very high.
Yeah, get him.
Yeah.
Yo, you got him, Xtreme. You got him.
Don't question my truth.
Got him. You say you like the idea of 40K Biran, yet
I don't like playing any games.
who just bought a fucking Tech Marine? Who the fuck just bought a Tech Marine?
Someone's got to hang out by the bunker I bought.
You bought a fucking Tech Marine. You
And
don't buy
bunker.
Tech Marines for fun. You buy a guy to stand next to tanks.
Yes.
That's a 40K player.
To stand next to 3 Predator tanks with all las cannons.
Right. Would you ever bring Tech Marine and Kill Team?
Probably if I painted him and I was happy with how he turned out, then yes.
Does he ever say, like, there's nothing to fix? Why am I here?
I'm here to put oils on the things because that's
brought
what they
the
taught me in
mechanic.
Mars.
You brought the mechanic, but there's no cars. What the fuck?
But he's got the arm that can grab things.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, maybe they point custom, knowing he ain't fixing anything, but he's got the servo arm anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to ratings as usual in Zlurpee rating format. By the way, if you haven't watched our Marvel Crisis Protocol video, that is where Valdric and I broke the streak. Ka-chow. Boom. I think it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Broke the streak. So now all bets are off. Who knows? Will we ever see eye to eye again? I don't know. Probably not. We'll see. I am on the cumulative rankings. I'm getting real close to a 4 overall, so I know I'm very fanboy. I have that. I'm cognizant of that as well. Xtreme is still in the 3s, I believe. I'm hoping for him to get to 2.9 overall at some point. I would love
to keep talking about these kind of games. I'm like,
yeah, I think so. But
you're the one that leads and controls the topics.
Yeah, who picked Kill Team?
Who said we're doing Kill Team today? It was you.
I thought it was something other people might be interested in hearing about.
Oh, you're such a bottom.
I was looking for other people's.
Fair enough. I would say Biran, because he ran campaigns, probably has the most Kill Team experience. So we'll go to Biran, Valdric, me, Xtreme.
I'm going to go all the way to a 4.5.
Ooh, wow.
It has all the lore goodness and stupidness of 40K, but I can finish it in an hour, or if I'm playing Mike, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, whenever Mike and I play, it's over so fast. Because I don't know, we just come so quickly.
It's not you, Biran. It's him. He's the one that makes you come quickly because he knows to put a thumb in the butt. He knows that.
And hook it. You got to hook it a little bit to get to that thing, the button.
Yeah.
Mike is notorious for like elevating his competition, not as far as gamesmanship, but as time elapsed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about win or loss. Nobody gives a fuck about that. But
No.
time elapsed, Mike is like the guy that ran the first 4-minute mile or whatever. You know what I mean? You'll play faster by being around him.
Mm-hmm.
You're both waiting. Like, should we just go and get some food? Can we talk about what we're gonna buy?
We just like the idea of this game, not the game.
Yeah.
It's the hanging out. We need a reason to hang out. We don't
4.5 because it's also a game you can get into.
Yep. Good score. Valdric, your rating?
Oh, I'm torn.
Be honest to yourself, Mike. Don't soften it.
I won't change mine. I'm not going to write anything down, but I have a feeling your tornness, if that's a word, is the same as mine. I'm teetering between 2 scores right now. And to this moment, at this exact moment, I don't even know what I'm going to give. I'm pretty sure it's the lower of the 2.
I'm going to write it down.
Okay.
All right.
Valdric, your score?
3.5. I don't know if you can see that.
I see it.
Yeah, it like you said, it's 40K-ish, and I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking about this earlier. It, like you said, so similar to 40K that I get confused if you're going back and forth, and I'm not good enough for 40K. But I don't know. It like I said, it's a skirmish game. It plays faster. I played that over 40K. But I don't know. The thought of playing it is nice, but like you said, just sometimes, actually playing it. Yeah. So.
Okay. Over to me. I think Mike and I are the same wavelength there. You know, when Biran said I like the idea of it and I'd rather play in 40K, here's me. When I'm playing Kill Team, I would rather play 40K. I like the idea of this, you know, I got the A team. I got this like elite group that's going to do this and this. And they got one guy's going to run over here, hit this button before this guy runs there. None of that shit ever happens. It's just a fucking shootout every time. And whoever rolls more people out of action 4+, it never ends up the way I think a Kill Team should go. It's supposed to be a fun, cool, cinematic experience. It never is. It just feels like watered down 40K. And so the guy I play most of my 40K and Kill Team with here, usually we switch off. What do you want to play? He always says Kill Team, and I always say 40K. We'll play the other one, but it's because the other one, like I'm playing Kill Team because he asked, not because I would have picked it. And that always happens every time. So, and then based on the con earlier about Necromunda is buy a box, get in the game. Kill Team really isn't that. Those fucking boxes that say Kill Team at your store, they don't have the squad you want in there. It's not in there because it doesn't exist. The squad you want is one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. So you better make an army. So Kill Team, to me, is a fun afterthought, a fun side game than 40K. That's what it is to me. It's never going to be a main game for me. It never will, as long as it's what that is, which is, picking parts of your 40K army to play a small, watered-down version of it. So for me, it is a 3.5. Back on track, Mike. Back on track.
No, you had to go lower than Mike to get back on track, or was it higher?
No, you're right. I don't mean that. I mean back on teaming up.
Yeah, we're same score.
I considered it a 4 throughout this episode. Because
I kind of did, but then, I don't know. The more I thought about it, the more I was like, eh.
Let's go to the numbers. Is this the first time that I'll be the highest rated? Oh, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, don't
spoil it. Brian might give it a 5.
It might be. I wanted to give it a 4 because I've always had fun in my games. And but 3.5 is still as I've said before, if someone says let's play, I'm going to play. Not going to turn it down. That's what kills me. I'm never going to say let's play, but if you say let's play, then I'll play. To me, that's a 3.5. That's where we're at. Xtreme, your rating.
So based on my 40K rating, and then for like what you always say, how likely am I to play it if someone brought it up? So I gave 40K a 1.5. I'm going to give this a 2 because I'm more likely to play this than a 40K. And I do like the lower model count, and it'll be over quicker. So it gets a little bit better than 40K.
Yowza. Wow. 4.5 to 2. One of our largest
swings by far, yeah.
I think we've had, I gave 40K a 4 and Xtreme went 1.5. So that's about the same, right?
And Blood Bowl, I think we went 4 to 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4 to 1.
Ooh, 4 to 1's hey. Okay. Total score, I wasn't doing the math. So Biran is probably doing it now. He's got a TI 83 graphing calculator over there.
3.5.
I was gonna say it's gonna be about 3.5. Yeah.
Okay.
If you'd have gone 2.5, it would have been perfect.
So there we have it. That is 40K Kill Team. It is its own game. If you play the game or thinking about it, you're watching this video, we gave you some pros and cons. I think for the most part, it's kind of right in the middle. It's got a lot of stuff we all like about it and a lot of stuff that could be a little bit improved. If you enjoy this show, you should probably slurp on that sub button. If you use your foot, get that computer off there. I almost showed my balls. It would have been like the
Zubin guy.
I don't want to be hashtag Zoom dick, but whatever gets views. Make sure you ring that bell because you want to get notified when new episodes are up.
But no one wants. Don't ring that on too many things you sub to because then you'll get flooded. So only do it for our podcast.
Yeah, I only have rang the bell for I think 5 or 6.
I've done it for one.
Is it the
It's
Canal
not
Pal?
ours.
The Canal Pal one?
Red Letter Media is the only one I do.
All right. I thought it was your Canal Pal site.
No, because I'm refreshing his main page constantly.
Because you want to give him. I mean,
I get notifications because I give to Patreon for him. So.
Ooh, okay. Humble brag.
Mm-hmm.
2 points for that. Good work. So it follows Zlurpcast on social media. Join the Facebook group, Zlurpcast Discussion. Also, take a look at that. Wait, Biran, I'm not going to assume he's up, but whatever. He's wearing a SMAT shirt. Snowmat, SMAT, that's pretty cool. Where do you get a shirt like that? You get it at zlurpcast.net. When you buy our merch on there, we get a couple of shekels to our name, and it allows Biran to get, although that was bought for him. So that's why he sounds better than all of us. He's got the pipes too, but it also sounds better because of technology. So check out zlurpcast.net. Get a sticker. Who doesn't want a sticker? The shipping is going to cost more than the sticker. Just fucking buy it. Buy a sticker. What do you have one? Nearby, Biran?
It's on my iPad and that's upstairs.
Oh, okay.
I bought a SMAT sticker as well.
I can't show it because I got some mirrors
You said it's on your dick? What'd you say?
on the back of my computer.
Oh, I thought because you were saying you couldn't show it that you usually put a sticker on your prives. You know what I'm saying?
No, the stickers are too big for mine.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
Cubes are it hurts.
Yeah. It's a dick-sized joke. That's what you get here. Come for the
Todd.
Come for the dick jokes. Stay for some gaming content. Talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by Nuffles. Bet you can't just roll a one.